Wrestling fam, welcome back to Wrestling Pro News, your ultimate source for the most electrifying, jaw-dropping, and in-depth storytelling in professional wrestling, where every headline feels like the next chapter of an epic saga and every rumor has the potential to change the very foundation of WWE itself. And today we're diving straight into a brewing storm that has the WWE universe buzzing with both anticipation and dread. Because the whispers backstage are growing louder that Roman Reigns may be plotting to cost Seth Rollins the World Heavyweight Championship at Clash in Paris, a move that would not only shake Monday Night Raw to its core but also reignite one of the most intense rivalries in modern wrestling history, a rivalry rooted in betrayal, ambition, and a constant struggle for supremacy between two former brothers who know each other's strengths and weaknesses like no one else. Seth Rollins, fresh off his cunning victory at SummerSlam 2025 where he pulled off what's already being called the ruse of the century, cashed in his Money in the Bank contract immediately after CM Punk dethroned Gunther in a grueling 30-minute war, and with Paul Heyman by his side, the Vision's leader cemented himself as the most dangerous manipulator in WWE, strutting into the post-SummerSlam season with the swagger of a man untouchable. Yet every champion has a shadow lurking behind them, and for Rollins, that shadow is the tribal chief himself, Roman Reigns, who has been biding his time, watching, waiting, and now possibly preparing to strike when the moment is most devastating. The setup for this chaos began at MetLife Stadium during SummerSlam's two-night spectacle. On night 1, CM Punk's hard-fought triumph over Gunther to claim his first world title in over a decade was interrupted by Rollins' calculated deception as he limped out on crutches, only to reveal the act, toss them aside, and crush Punk with a curb stomp to snatch the championship in under 5 minutes, sending social media into meltdown as fans debated whether this was genius or pure treachery. That same night, Roman Reigns returned to action alongside Jey Uso to defeat Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed in a statement match, proving he'd lost none of his dominance since WrestleMania 41 and locking eyes with Rollins in a post-match glare that hinted at unfinished business between the two. Night 2 brought another shock as Brock Lesnar returned, F5 feeding John Cena after Cody Rhodes' win, a move that added yet another dangerous piece to the puzzle, especially with Lesnar's own Heyman-linked history, making the potential alliances and betrayals even more unpredictable. The Raw after SummerSlam escalated everything. Rollins, flanked by Heyman, Breaker, and Reed, gloated about his victory until LA Knight interrupted, leading to a main event title match that ended in chaos when CM Punk attacked Rollins, triggering a Vision beatdown, only for Roman Reigns' music to hit as he stormed the ring to fight off Breaker and Reed before Rollins slipped away, leaving Reigns vulnerable to a spear from Breaker and 3 tsunami splashes from Reed. The humiliation was personal. Reigns had tried to save Punk and Knight, but the numbers overwhelmed him, and Punk's mocking Instagram jab about still having his shoes rubbed salt into the wound, stoking the fire for what's coming next. With Clash in Paris set for August 31, 2025, and Rollins likely defending against CM Punk in a rematch or perhaps in a triple threat involving LA Knight, the stage is perfectly set for Reigns to insert himself into the chaos, especially if Adam Pearce bans the Vision from ringside to neutralize their interference, creating the opening Reigns needs to strike without warning. The motivation for Reigns is clear. This is about history, about turning the tables after years of Rollins' victories at his expense, from the infamous 2014 chair shot that shattered the Shield, to WrestleMania 31's heist of the WWE Championship, to WrestleMania 41's burial aided by Heyman's betrayal. Now, with Heyman standing beside Rollins, the poetic symmetry is irresistible, and costing Rollins the title in Paris would be the ultimate psychological checkmate. Picture it. Rollins in control against Punk, the Paris crowd roaring, seconds away from a decisive curb stomp when Reigns' music hits. The arena erupts as the tribal chief storms through the crowd, spears Rollins in half, and leaves him laid out for Punk or Knight to claim the gold, standing over his fallen former brother with a smirk that says the game has changed forever. For Rollins, losing the championship would shatter the aura of invincibility the Vision thrives on, potentially fracturing the faction from within, while for Reigns, it's about reclaiming dominance, proving he's still the true head of the table. For WWE, it's the perfect setup for a massive feud that could escalate into a Survivor Series War Games match pitting the Bloodline, Reigns, Jey Uso, maybe Jimmy Uso, and possibly Jacob Fatu, against the Vision, or even a WrestleMania 42 main event. Add in the Lesnar wildcard, could he side with Reigns to crush the Vision, or turn on everyone for his own gain, and you have a scenario where no alliance is safe. The faction warfare is already simmering, the personal stakes are sky high, and the Paris showdown could be the spark that ignites a year-long war for supremacy. The question is no longer if Roman Reigns will strike, it's when, and whether Seth Rollins is truly prepared for the kind of vengeance only the tribal chief can deliver. The countdown to Clash in Paris has begun, and the WWE Universe knows that when these two titans collide, legacies will be rewritten, alliances will be shattered, and the fallout will be felt all the way to WrestleMania. Wrestling fam, welcome back to Wrestling Pro News, the place where we don't just give you headlines, we take you deep into the heart of the storm, peeling back the layers, connecting the dots, and painting the full picture of WWE's most explosive storylines. And right now there is no story hotter, no rumor more dangerous, and no rivalry more primed to boil over than the growing belief that Roman Reigns is plotting to cost Seth Rollins the World Heavyweight Championship at Clash in Paris, a move that would not only shake the power structure of Monday Night Raw but also reignite one of the most volatile, personal, and history-rich feuds in modern wrestling, a feud rooted in betrayal, ambition, and the kind of bad blood that never truly heals. Seth Rollins, riding the high of his controversial but brilliantly calculated victory at SummerSlam 2025, where he executed what fans and analysts alike are calling the ruse of the century, is walking into this next phase of the season with gold around his waist, Paul Heyman in his corner, and the Vision, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, enforcing his dominance. But the problem with being at the top is that every rival you've ever wronged is gunning for you, and Roman Reigns is not just any rival, he's the one man Rollins has outmaneuvered time and time again, and that history is why this looming clash feels inevitable. The roots of this story go all the way back to SummerSlam's two-night epic at MetLife Stadium, a weekend that reshaped WWE's landscape. On night 1, CM Punk fought through a brutal 30-minute war with Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, finally claiming his first world title in over a decade after surviving devastating chops, breaking Gunther open, and hitting back-to-back GTS finishers that left the crowd of 50,000 in a frenzy. But just as the celebration began, Rollins' music hit and out he came on crutches, selling the illusion of injury to perfection, with Heyman by his side, only to dramatically toss the crutches aside, sprint to the ring, cash in his Money in the Bank contract, and crush Punk with a curb stomp to win the championship in under 5 minutes. Social media exploded, some called it genius, others called it cowardly, but everyone agreed it was vintage Rollins, the master manipulator. Earlier that same night, Roman Reigns had made his first in-ring appearance since WrestleMania 41, teaming with Jey Uso to take on the powerhouse duo of Breaker and Reed. It was a hard-hitting battle, but Reigns showed zero signs of ring rust, spearing Breaker for the win after Jey's USO splash, a victory that felt like more than just a comeback, it was a warning shot. As Reigns and Jey celebrated, Rollins appeared on the stage with Heyman, their eyes locked in a tense stare down that told the WWE Universe this wasn't over, not by a long shot. Night 2 brought another twist with Brock Lesnar returning out of nowhere to F5 John Cena after Cody Rhodes retained his championship, injecting even more chaos into an already unstable landscape. Lesnar's history with both Heyman and Reigns makes him a potential wildcard who could align with, betray, or target either man at any moment. The Raw after SummerSlam poured gasoline on the fire. Rollins opened the show flanked by Heyman, Breaker, and Reed, bragging about his cash in and declaring that the Vision now controlled Raw. LA Knight interrupted, reminding Rollins of his own recent victory over him, leading to a main event title match that showcased Knight's grit against Rollins' speed. The bout was interrupted by a furious CM Punk, still seething over his loss, triggering a brawl that brought the Vision into the ring for a 3-on-2 beatdown. Then Roman Reigns' music hit, the crowd erupted, and the Tribal Chief charged to the ring, flooring Breakker and Reed before aiming for Rollins, only for the champion to slip away, leaving Reigns open to a spear from Breakker and 3 crushing tsunami splashes from Reed. The image of Reigns lying battered while Rollins smirked from the ramp burned into the minds of fans, and Punk's Instagram jab, "At least I still have my shoes," mocking Reigns' loss of control, was the kind of insult that doesn't fade. Now all roads lead to Clash in Paris on August 31, 2025, where Rollins is expected to defend his championship against CM Punk in a rematch, or possibly in a triple threat that includes LA Knight. If Adam Pearce bans the Vision from ringside, stripping Rollins of his usual safety net, the door swings wide open for Reigns to strike, and given their history, he wouldn't hesitate. This is about more than a title, it's about years of betrayal and one-upmanship. From the infamous 2014 chair shot that shattered the Shield, to WrestleMania 31's heist where Rollins stole the WWE Championship from Reigns and Lesnar, to WrestleMania 41 where Heyman helped Rollins bury Reigns, the ledger between these two has been heavily tilted in Rollins' favor. Now, with Heyman standing alongside Rollins, Reigns has a golden opportunity to turn the tables in poetic fashion by costing his former brother the one thing that keeps the Vision's power intact, the championship. Imagine the moment, Rollins in control, about to hit the curb stomp on Punk in front of a raucous Paris crowd. When Reigns' music hits, the atmosphere shifts, and the Tribal Chief storms through the crowd, spears Rollins into the mat, and walks away without saying a word, leaving Punk or Knight to pin the champion. The smirk on Reigns' face as he stands over Rollins would echo the Night of the Shields. Betrayal, flipping the psychological advantage for the first time in years. For Rollins, losing the championship here would be catastrophic, not just for his ego, but for the Vision's dominance, which depends entirely on him holding the gold. For Reigns, it's a statement to the world that he's still the head of the table, still capable of controlling the board even when the pieces seem against him. For WWE, it sets up a blockbuster program that could run all the way to WrestleMania 42, with possible stops at Payback or Survivor Series for a War Games showdown, the Bloodline versus the Vision, with Heyman's loyalty hanging in the balance. And don't forget the Lesnar factor. The Beast could align with Reigns to obliterate the Vision, or he could target everyone, forcing uneasy alliances. Jacob Fatu's name has even been whispered as a potential Bloodline recruit to counter Breakker and Reed, making the looming faction war even more unpredictable. The question isn't just whether Reigns will strike, it's when, and how deep the knife will cut when he does. The countdown to Clash in Paris has begun, and the WWE Universe can feel it in their bones that this isn't just another title match. It's the next chapter in a decade-long war where betrayal is currency, legacy is the prize, and nothing will ever be the same once the final bell rings. If Rollins survives Paris, it will be because he was truly one step ahead of the Tribal Chief, but if Reigns lands his shot, the Architect's empire will crumble, and the shockwaves will be felt all the way to WrestleMania.